Welcome back to Conrad Fisher from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Talks about random internet shit. I look like if Steve Harrington got keel-hauled for 2 weeks straight, drowned, came back to life, got baked alive by the sun, and then somehow started the YouTube channel. Anyway, there is one word in particular that I'm going to be using a lot in this video, and it's not AI, it is kava. So I will be coming back to that clip every time I need to use that word throughout this video. I will be saying that word. I still remember in 2022 when ChatGPT dropped and everybody and their grandma was just using it to like write essays, do all their schoolwork and shit like that, and just using it for like a bunch of random buffoonery. It wasn't really that good at first, but it got really good really fast. And in the blink of an eye, it just felt like suddenly this shit was everywhere. And today it's on track to eliminate of white-collar jobs by 2030. According to the CEO of Anthropic, AI has already displaced thousands of employees everywhere. It displaced me. That's why I'm making videos on the internet. I'm not even monetized. I'm just doing this shit for the love of the game for now. Two companies in particular were notable for going absolutely hog wild with the AI thing, and that was Duolingo and Oracle. These two companies just purged their entire workforce and replaced tons and tons of employees with just robots. I think everyone remembers when Duolingo did this and like was trying to go like AI first. They're just posting about it and getting like massive backlash. And then for some reason, Duolingo liked one of my TikToks. Oracle just said, fuck it, we ball. They just went whole hog, completely ham on AI. They fired 20% of their workforce, which is 30,000 people, by the way, without warning, so they can put more money into AI. All these people at Oracle got this email, which is filled with more corporate, just kava eating corpo word slop than I could ever imagine. And hey, I mean, this shit already happened to me. I got laid off from my tech job. I got no severance package, of course. You know, I was way too like low in the food chain for that. It turned out that the artificial intelligence was actually somehow better for the company than my natural stupidity. That is how bonkers this is. Now that a ton of these jobs have gone to AI, for the few jobs that are left, you have to go through an AI interview to get the job. Like, you have to do an interview with a robot. Okay, so a couple months ago, I applied to be a bartender at Olive Garden. And so I applied online, right? And I had to talk to this fuck-ass chatbot for like an hour, just like trying to like, you know, get the job, right? And then the fucking bucket of bolts, it just started talking in circles. Like, I swear, I was getting rage baited by this robot. I've never been rage baited. Like, I don't get rage baited, right? Really? Like, I'm not like a rage baitable person, but I got rage baited by a robot. I basically told it to go fuck itself and then I closed the tab. I thought I wasn't going to get this job, right? But then somehow Olive Garden called me in for an interview and I did the interview. I didn't get the job. Yeah, I didn't get the job, but once again, artificial intelligence was no match for my natural stupidity. One of the companies powering these AI interviews is called Humanly, which is a name that pisses me off a lot because there's so many Silicon Valley companies that just have like a word and then Lee nowadays. That is the most like 2020s era corpo kava eating slop name that I could ever possibly conceive. What Humanly did was they made this San Francisco tech bro's wet dream of an artificially generated woman to be like a job interviewer for a bunch of companies. And there's been tons of people documenting their experience. And this virtual creature has been known to just like talk in circles over and over again and just get like stuck in weird like interview loops.
It was also repetitive, asking me the same question a few times.
Could you tell me about a specific time you reached out to a talent agent? Could you share a specific example of a time you reached out to a talent agent? Could you share a specific example of a time you contacted a talent agent?
Like this time, the artificial intelligence is turning into the artificial stupidity, which then again is worse than my natural stupidity. Yep, guys, I think unfortunately we do need to nuke the Bay Area. But yeah, I hope when the AI bubble pops, like this shit is the first thing that goes. And it probably will, considering that like a lot of this AI just kind of sucks at doing its job. And there are several examples of this. Recently, the company Klarna, which you're probably very familiar with, you use them to finance your Coachella tickets, right? They fired 60% of their workforce, which is 700 people. Replaced these people with AI realized how bad that they fucked up, and now they're scrambling to rehire all these people. What the robots did for Klarna was whenever they had customer support complaints, the robots were just kind of working as fast as they could to like spam resolve the tickets, leaving the actual customers very unsatisfied because they can't reach through to an actual human. They're not getting like a valuable solution, like nothing's actually getting done.
You know what's even wackier?
The former employees that they want to rehire, they're trying to bring them back on as gig workers so they don't have to give them like benefits or I don't know, rights or insurance. Yeah, no, I don't know. I think I'm done using Klarna personally. I'm not gonna finance my Kung Fu tea order. You know, I'll just like fucking cough up the $8 up front. You know, I'm good off that. I'm good. So this kind of looks like an example of like a mini AI bubble pop. So what happens when these companies that fired like a fuck ton of people realize that the AI that they hired to replace those people
Is actually ass.
and the AI genuinely can't manage their workload. And then companies are just rushing to rehire those employees that they fired. Before I was a freelance actor and barista, which is a really complicated way of saying I'm unemployed, I worked for a tech company. My degree is in cybersecurity. So like I know how to code, right? Like I know code. I'm a tech baddie. But studies have shown that AI code generates up to 1.7 times as many errors and increases needs for maintenance by 38%. You can't just like spam accept lines of code that Cursor generates. And I know that because I've done that.
Gartner just said that 50% of companies who laid off workers because of AI will rehire for the exact same roles by 2027.
So far in 2026, software engineer hiring is skyrocketing.
It's true that it could wreak havoc, but I think it's much more likely to reshape jobs rather than to erase them altogether.
But this is not necessarily because companies are not using AI, but because AI makes so many mistakes when writing code that expert developers have to correct it 9 out of 10 times.
Studies show AI code contains up to 1.7 times more bugs and increases maintenance by 38%, reducing productivity and raising costs. As a result, firms are rehiring experienced developers, often former employees, in a boomerang hiring trend. Junior roles decline, while demand for senior engineers grows, highlighting the AI augments developments. Wow, I can't fucking pronounce. Rather than replacing them entirely today. Oh wait, that's great. They're also eliminating entry-level positions. Let's go! Isn't this your favorite thing? How do I end up having to talk about this on this channel? Just like, oh yeah, there's no entry-level jobs left. Mama guevaso. It seems like people, and by people I do mean the kava, eating corpo husks at the top of the Technogarch food chain. So not actually people, just like corpo husks, are starting to realize how bad AI is at doing jobs, specifically coding jobs. On a side note, there's so many people using AI to list jobs and find jobs that the whole job market has turned into like a circle jerk of AI. Like you have like all these like AI generated job listings on LinkedIn, and then you have people using AI to apply for all of those or like filter out which jobs are best for them and then apply for them. People are building AI tools to optimize their job search.
A developer automated their entire job search, submitted over 700 applications, and got hired. CareerOps is the open source system they built. It scans career pages across 45 plus tech companies, including Stripe, Anthropic, and OpenAI. Finds matching roles, rewrites your CV with 14 skill modes to fit each specific position, and generates ATS optimized PDFs.
Which is another way to show how bad the job market is. You have to build like an AI agent to find a job, developing advanced technology just to get a job. This guy only got a job after 700 job submissions with an AI bot that he built. But yeah, basically like the entire job market has turned into this like one giant circle jerk of robots, and like people are optimizing their resumes for AI and including like hidden commands in their LinkedIn resumes to like highlight where the AI is. There's this one guy who like told the robot to like make a recipe for him like on his resume, and then he got an email from the company like with that AI recipe. Even outside of the tech space, we're seeing companies that have absolutely nothing to do with tech or programming or AI, just like do a complete 180 and just go balls deep into AI. The most notable example of this is a shoe company called Allbirds. You guys like might remember Allbirds, like, and they've been making shoes for a while, but recently they just shut down and then completely shifted gears and just went all in on AI. They went from selling shoes to just developing AI hardware, basically. What I think happened is that Allbirds shoe sales were starting to slow down. So maybe they spread themselves too thin and expanded too much and they just kind of like fizzled out.
Allbirds shoes were must-have accessories, especially among the tech set, but a $4 billion valuation peak quickly tumbled, leading the company to recently sell off their stores And as of a few days ago, the whole brand was worth about 1% of what it once was. Now Albert says it's going to put the shoes away and become an AI company, despite no prior experience in the AI arena.
It's a very interesting pivot, and time will tell whether they can be successful.
Investors are eating it up, sending Allbirds stock higher by almost 600% in a single day.
I guess the only way they could think of to get more money by announce like, yo, we're doing AI now. As soon as they did that, they instantly got showered with cash by investors. Their stock price went up 600% in one day, which is just crazy. I mean, like, I'm just more surprised that they shut down because, like, it seemed like the shoes were popular, you know, everyone was loving them, especially like the tech bros, you know. Everybody in the Bay Area was rocking these. There's another company called Innovative Beverage Group Holdings, and they also just completely shifted and went into AI and then rebranded as Quantum Computing Incorporated. The same thing happened to them. They instantly got showered with money from investors. If you just utter the words AI, you just instantly get like a golden shower of money. You just absolutely get instantly bukaked with dollar bills. It is wild. You could just, it's like a spell. You just say AI and it's magic. Speaking of getting bukaked with money, did you know that you're putting money into a retirement account right now? You're actually putting money into AI research. That's right. If you're investing into retirement, an index fund, or 401k in this country, about 30% of that money is going to Nvidia, Microsoft, Alphabet, and just like basically just these 7 companies. Investing in the S&P 500 is investing in AI. Right now, 52% of the S&P 500 is made up of 20 companies that are all putting their full bussy into AI. According to BlackRock, wait a minute, why did I get the statistic from BlackRock? I don't know. But according to BlackRock, 54% of Americans have hedge fund accounts, and people invest in the S&P 500 because it is thought to be like the most safest retirement strategy. Imagine the AI bubble bursts when this much money has been put into AI and everybody saving up for retirement has money on AI. The way that I think the economy works, if the AI bubble bursts, those people, anybody with a retirement account would be like, como se dice, cooked. So OpenAI, Nvidia, and Microsoft, Oracle, these companies all continue to generate income, which just like has a snowball effect by investing in each other and forming like a loop of commerce. And this has been going on for a while. When OpenAI was starting out, Nvidia invested in them, just putting like tons and tons of money into them. And in turn, OpenAI was buying chips from Nvidia. So Nvidia knew they'd get the money back, so they just kept investing in OpenAI. And OpenAI was making actual money without having like a single customer needing to pay for something. And I researched this shit. So this is called circular financing, and companies basically do it a lot because more or less just basically because if you're sitting on a mountain of cash and you have cash in a bank account, over time that cash is going to lose value. So you have to invest it in other companies, which is why companies are publicly traded and have massive shares in each other. Because if you don't, that money will lose value due to inflation. And recently, just the big thing that everybody's investing in is AI. AI is like that gold rush. So all these big companies just kind of own massive chunks at each other, just like I own a massive chunk of your mom's ass. And it's just forming like, once again, a massive AI circle jerk with all these companies. So all this revenue and money looks impressive, but once you realize that it's actually just like a mountain of like corporate hand jobs and favors that these companies have with each other, basically, once everyone tries to actually cash in, all of this just kind of comes like crumbling down. OpenAI just reported a $17 billion loss in 2025. And I think they're projected to lose like $14 billion this year. And I do think that's why they shut down Sora, thank fuck. And now they're basically just making enough money to like keep the lights on and pay for the next, you know, Kava order and just like make it an illusion of profitability. But there isn't even any like return of investment yet because all these AI companies are betting on a future that has yet to be created. OpenAI is running off of a gamble of an idea, of a theory. They have been doing that since their inception. Venture capital is kind of just holding the idea of AI together. The AI companies know that they have to invest in their future, which is why they started building massive infrastructure across the country. And yes, of course, they're doing this near mainly communities of color. But the AI companies, they don't like to talk about that. There are massive construction projects for these AI data centers going on right now. Notably, Meta is building the Prometheus data center in Ohio, and in Louisiana, they're building the much larger Hyperion data center, which will go online in 2030. And now remember that every time you type in a prompt to ChatGPT, that prompt gets sent to one of these data centers, and actual hardware has to get spun up. And it's running on these chips that have to get replaced every 1 to 3 years. Companies have to build massive infrastructure to run AI and get closer to that dream of general artificial intelligence. OpenAI is still set to lose $14 billion this year, just chasing that idea. Once again, they're only making enough money to buy the next Kava DoorDash order. Wait a minute, hold on. What's it called when you infinitely expand with limited resources? Oh yeah, cancer. This is not even to mention the Canadian maple syrup dipped cock-sucking asshole named Kevin O'Leary LARPing as an American. Right now in Utah, they're trying to build a new data center there. I think the law already got passed through, so they're doing that, but he's muscle fucking so many communities around the country. When you get a data center built in your community, like everything's just getting fucked. Your cost of living will go up, your water will get polluted, there's no jobs being provided to the area. The average data center only employs about 25 people. The largest data center in the United States only employs about 100 people. You're not even giving jobs to the community, you're only just taking from them. 42 US states now have basically tax exemptions or, reductions for building data centers, which means that money going into these AI circle jerks, it could have been going into like education or I don't know, housing or healthcare. Additionally, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, also known as the I'm going to fucking kill you and bomb Venezuela Act, recently made a bunch of these tech companies essentially tax exempt. Now we'll just have like higher electric bills all over the country, and we're the motherfuckers paying for that, Everybody's betting on artificial general intelligence, which is a technology that hasn't even been achieved yet. And we have like all this massive infrastructure going up all over the country. So what happens if this all falls apart? All these big companies are betting on this thing called artificial general intelligence, which is basically like a human mind's put into code, basically. Although it would be so dope if I had like C3PO in real life, but no, I don't know if that's gonna work, Chief. Also, recently OpenAI and Anthropic have been battling over this bill in Illinois that basically give AI companies just like legal immunity. But it's interesting that OpenAI really wants this bill to pass, but Anthropic doesn't. Anthropic is like trying to be like the good guy of like the AI companies, That's like a little bit respectable. Now I understand why my sister wants me to play Cyberpunk so bad, because this does look like we're getting closer to technofeudalism, especially with AI just like taking all the jobs and directly attacking the middle class. If the middle class is eliminated, then well, that's what happens. Cyberpunk happens. Eliminate the middle class and have overlords of technology. But yeah, we're already seeing this much impact in just the early years of AI, We're only like, what, 5 years into this shit? What happens like way later down the road, Just look at like the internet, how long, like what happened over the history of the internet, We've had the internet for like, what, 30 years? And AI we've only had for like 5 years. Just imagine what there could be. AI only like just got here. It just pulled up and it's already like fucking up the entire party. Okay, so like, what do we do now? Everything's getting like more and more uncertain. Recent college grads in America are faced with mountains of student debt. What the fuck is free higher education? All the jobs that we study for in school are getting replaced by robots. Everybody at the top, the Kava eating overlords at the top are replacing all those jobs with robots. That way they can save more money to go spend it at Kava. The technogarchs are putting their whole bussy into this uncertain future, chasing the dream of artificial general intelligence with zero regard to actual humans and who will actually be impacted by all these data centers and environmental costs as well. They're only hiring people with AI literacy, AI natives. So if you don't want to use AI, you're already at a disadvantage. Like they want people who know how to use AI. Also, the only way you can get a job is by using AI. You have to make an AI agent to get a job to filter through all the other AI generated jobs. Use AI if you want to. If you hate AI, that's cool too, I haven't touched AI ever since I got fired from my corporate job. And it's been kind of peaceful. You know, I've just been like brain maxing. There are great potential uses for AI and like, you know, healthcare or like space. It definitely is like a double-edged sword. You know, I'm thankful to be seeing like less AI slop now that Sora is shut down. And I still do get kind of pissed off every time my homeboy send me like an AI generated slop video. But anyway, the old path no longer works, you know? You're not going to like study and then go get a job out of school. It's way harder to do that now. Staying in school is no longer great career advice. So I just say like fuck you, start doing whatever you want. That's what I started doing, just like chasing my own passions, I want to get more into acting, more into YouTube. The best career advice I can give to you is the same as Oracle would give to themselves. Fuck it, we ball. So yeah, thanks for watching. Go follow me on Instagram, go follow me on TikTok, and I'm doing my best to make more YouTube videos, and I've had a lot of fun doing this. I hope I've become worthy of your subscription by now. But anyway, yep. Thanks for watching.